Oh, hey, I didn't even notice you there. I'm Greg, the Sports Rehab Expert, and today I'm going to talk to you why these, right here, pieces of equipment are absolutely useless and you shouldn't waste your time or money with them. Now I know what you're thinking at this point. Greg, I see everybody using it in the gym. If I go into a PT place, I've been to PT before, physical therapy, and they make me get on those things all the time. So it's got to be good for me, right? Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and everything you see on social media isn't necessarily always true. So let's break this down a little bit further and understand actually what we're doing when we're on top of those, and does it actually match up with what we think we're accomplishing. So when you see individuals on those AirX pads or those BOSU balls, those odd looking blue doohickey things, what we say in the fitness world is that you're working on proprioception or you're working on balance, your capabilities with that particular exercise. We say that in physical therapy too. The ironic thing is there is an actual specific test in physical therapy that uses those objects for the exact opposite purpose, and that's called a foam and dome test. Kind of an odd name for a test, but that purpose of that test is to check our three systems that are responsible for balance, which would be our inner ear, vision, and then proprioception of our feet to sense pressure and kind of tell where our body is moving in space. Now, with that foam and dome test, we actually use that AirX pad, that blue foam pad, to impede our sensory proprioceptive input to check our vision and our inner ear and how that is operating in regard to a balance component. So we use those AirX pads as an impedance against sensory inputs or proprioception, meaning it's blocking proprioception and it's making that a little bit more fuzzy. Essentially, it's static for proprioception. But yet, when we go into the fitness world or in the rehab world, we still say we're trying to improve our balance, our proprioception when we use those training devices. So the purpose I'm trying to bring up here is if we're using a piece of an equipment that its sole purpose is to block sensory input or impede proprioception capabilities, that would be like me telling you we're going to try to improve your vision by making you wear a blindfold all the time. We're going to block your vision and it's going to make you be able to see better. Now, that logic doesn't add up. You all know that. So why would we use an object or a piece of an equipment that blocks our ability to sense the ground when we're trying to improve our balance, our proprioception? It doesn't really make much sense. It would make more sense if you wanted to work your balance to take away some of the other components of balance, such as vision or vestibular, to make you work the proprioceptive capabilities a little bit more. What does not make sense is to use those objects that block our proprioception to try to improve proprioception. And if you want any further common sense to it, just look at the dang disclaimers that are written on both of them. They say something along the line of, you cannot sue us if you fall down and hurt yourself because of losing your balance. Because the purpose of them is to force you to lose your balance, because you're impeding the ability to sense the ground, because it's a sensory disturbance, okay? So it doesn't make much sense to me. I hope that's helpful for you. You don't need to waste your time or energy or money on those pieces of equipment. They don't do you any good. So I rarely, if ever, use those two objects when I'm performing any type of fitness program or rehab program with individuals. Now, the only time I may use it is if it's just laying around kind of collecting dust and I'm like, hey, heck, let's pull this thing out and have a little bit of fun with the client. Because sometimes it is fun to just kind of move around on those things and just have a little fun with a client every now and then too, because you can have fun in rehab, all right? So I hope you found that useful. Feel free to share it with somebody who is not getting the best out of their rehab or not getting the best out of their fitness program. Probably something better to be doing than wasting your time with those pieces of equipment right there.